Good morning and hello. How can we deal with an Amazon agency or hire a new member of staff when we don't know the first thing about Amazon pay-per-click? How can we keep up with the ever-changing pace of Amazon advertising? Should only one person manage our Amazon ads, pay-per-click, strategic vision, profit and loss, market opportunity? Amazon has changed. We can't keep up. We don't know what we don't know about Amazon. Welcome to Sell Beyond Amazon Management Consultancy. I'm founder of Sell Beyond, Dr. Eloise Finch. I started selling on Amazon in 2006 when I lived in the USA, and this is my colleague, Phil Revitt. Phil, tell us about your Amazon experience.
Yeah, I started selling on Amazon back in 2015, so I've been doing it a good decade now. Started selling in the US, started selling supplements. That was a passion of mine at the time, still is. Yeah, and I've had an amazing journey. This last 10 years has been sort of eye-opening the way that Amazon has changed.
Thanks for that. And we've been working together for about 5 years at Sell Beyond. So this afternoon, your lunchtime learning, let's get back to basics. Why are you advertising on Amazon? What are your goals? Do you know your unit costs? What are your profits? How big is your Amazon market and where should you focus? What's your reach? What's your conversion rate on Amazon and what's your net income? And what 5 steps do you need to deliver profitable growth on Amazon? So at Sell Beyond, we've walked the walk. We're not a marketing agency. We've actually run businesses on Amazon and we work with lots of different types of companies to help them understand and make better decisions with the overwhelming amount of data that Amazon gives us. And it's quite amazing the number of British households now that have access to Amazon Prime. I think it's 13.5 million households now.
It's an awful lot.
That's an awful lot of people that enjoy buying Amazon products, whether we like it or hate it. A lot of people like that tomorrow delivery. Phil, you've been selling on Amazon for the last 10 years. How has Amazon changed in the last year?
Wow, okay, that's a big question. It's changed beyond recognition from the point of view. When I first started selling on Amazon, we didn't need advertisement. So advertisement wasn't really a thing. You could start selling on Amazon and sell really, really well and really quickly without actually having to promote your products.
You could just plonk everything online and it would sell.
Absolutely, yeah. These days, you can't start Amazon without understanding the advertising side of things, because without the adverts, you're not going to get your product in front of people.
So that's a common misconception with some businesses that are looking to sell on Amazon because they sell B2B maybe. They think you can successfully grow on Amazon by just putting the range on there. It's not like that.
Not at all, no. If you've ever, I'm sure most people have typed into Amazon and looked for a product. The majority of the products that come up first are advertisements. And the general public don't understand that they're ads, so they'll click on them and purchase a product via the advertisement. So if you're not advertising, you're missing out on that fantastic selling spot, which is the top of page 1. Without the advert, you're not going to get there. So how are you going to get your customers? Because
we're in a brutal race to be at the front. When you search for something on Amazon, that top half of the page, everyone's competing for it. That's not the only place you can advertise, but that's important.
It is.
So what's changed over the last year in terms of that importance?
I think Amazon have increased the amount of adverts that appear, as you know, all over the place. So the top of page 1 used to have probably 1, maybe 2 adverts. Now the top line is all advertisement. Got your big banner ads, and then advertisement all the way through, including videos. So yeah, it's a huge change.
And I'm now starting to see Amazon listings follow me around the internet.
Yeah, it's becoming very intuitive. So, there's a lot of AI used by Amazon now, particularly in ads. There's something that perhaps we'll touch on later on. But yeah, you've only got to like something in a way just by looking at it, and the advert will follow you around. It's very intuitive. Amazon have an avatar of every single person, so they know who you are, where you live, your demographics, in terms of your possible income, the things you like and don't like, and the things that you will get shown on Amazon are related to you. They're not to everybody. Your neighbor could click on, search for the same stuff get different results because they are a different personality, different avatar.
So Amazon ads are increasing. Even over the last year, we've seen Amazon ads take up more of companies' budget. They're advertising in more places. Let's face it, Amazon is one of the biggest advertising companies. It lends a lot of money through Amazon revenue. We're not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a fact. So for companies that are on Amazon, that have teams running Amazon, we have to know that it's an increasing part of business. But on the other hand, we can't just say we're going to spend more money on Amazon ads, because that's not a strategy. And no company wants to do that. So from the perspective of top line, what do CEOs and company directors need to know about Amazon? They might not be the people that are running the ads, but what do business owners need to know about Amazon ads that often we find they might not know, Phil?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because over the years working with yourself and taking on companies and looking after their accounts and having discussions with the CEOs, they don't fully understand how Amazon works as a process and what you need to do to get your products in front of customers in the first place, let alone look at the advertising side of things. So each product has a rank, and each product has lots of keywords that relate to it that also have a rank, and you need to generate sales against each of those keywords to give that keyword a better ranking position, so therefore getting in front of the customers more often than your competition. And a lot of people think you can plug and play, you just put it on and away it goes.
So there's a common misconception, often if people aren't directly involved in Amazon, for some businesses, that you can put the range on, you can grow through range, and that's enough. Yeah. What we're saying is that when you search something on a keyword, Amazon will fire an ad. If the customer clicks on that ad, it will relate to that keyword and your organic ranking goes up. So sometimes company strategy on Amazon is being dictated by people that don't really understand the brutally competitive nature. Is that Amazon has endless shelf space for everybody, but only a small amount of people get to the top of the search. Yeah. And we get to the top of search through having a great product, great price, good reviews, compelling images and copy, but also by paying our way in some way or other to elbow the competition out of the way.
Unfortunately, that is the case.
That's one common misconception. And I think from that perspective, one thing that we often see with CEOs and company directors, you may have a really good team that has been on Amazon for a number of years. Yeah. What common misconceptions have when actually the team is doing really well, but that might hide a few areas of improvement? What have we seen, Phil?
Yeah, what I've noticed over the years is that people come to us and they're doing really well. Look at their account, the advertising console looks really, really good, it's in a good place. When you dig a bit deeper, you realise they're actually missing the new technology and tools that Amazon are offering. And they are absolutely brilliant tools. And so they're not keeping their finger on the pulse of what's actually happening on Amazon and what the changes are, what the new things that are coming out, new opportunities, new ways to get your product in front of people. I mean, Amazon now are really driving more towards off of Amazon, and that's not only with the DSP platform and also with the display, but also now with sponsored products and sponsored brands. They are now looking to have those advertised off of Amazon as well. So if they've got the finger on the pulse, they're sticking with the old techniques, the old strategies, the old ways of doing things.
And old might be a year ago.
Absolutely.
Or 2 years ago.
Yeah, they tick along nicely, but they're not taking advantage of the new technology.
So that's a question then for company owners, business owners to think, how are we getting new knowledge to the team? How are we investing in their knowledge? Have they got time to learn more? Are we giving them the time? Because things change quite a lot. So really important question there, Phil. How do we make Amazon profitable? So Amazon isn't just ads. How do we make Amazon more profitable for companies where Amazon ads are eating a greater and greater proportion of overhead?
Yeah, it's a good question, because as you say, that always the more as the years have gone on, we've seen a bigger slice of sales overall coming from Amazon, and that obviously eats into profitability. So we need to be aware of how we can control and manage that. And I think it comes back to good advertisement and managed very, very well, but also having understanding of all the numbers. So first of all, go back to basics. What did you buy the product for? What are your costs, etc.? What is your break-even point? I've had a conversation with a few companies recently. I've asked the question, what's your break-even point? Because we need to understand what's the cut-off point for our ACOS or ROAS or whatever we're targeting at the time. And they didn't know. I mean, a simple...
it's not necessarily simple.
Well, you thought a company would understand where their profitability is and what their profitability levels are. And I do appreciate that there are different levels for different products and different SKUs. But having that understanding is part of the key to your profitability.
So I'd say a common misconception, and to go off that, for some companies, a lot of companies, especially if you're manufacturing or you're distributing to supermarkets or other places, they might have a blanket unit cost for everything. Whether it's going out to Tesco's, whether it's going out to distributors in Europe, we have a blanket cost between the landed cost and the shipped cost, and it's a single unit. And that can then hide a multitude of sins, because
Absolutely.
While that might work from a distribution point of view, from an Amazon perspective, what does that cover? And what does that hide, Phil, if you've only got a blanket cost for everything?
You've got the costs of Amazon, of course, and that depends on the product size, product price, the category that you're in, and people often don't dig deep into that to find out what their Amazon costs actually are. So they're missing out there. But also from the advertisement point of view, understanding that cut-off point, that break-even point, is one of the most important elements of making the advertisement profitable.
So we're trying to grow market share. We're trying to get in front of more people who are going to buy our awesome products. Often larger businesses that have expertise in distribution or manufacturing haven't dug down truly to the unit cost. And what happens is when they try then to grow through pay-per-click advertising, at some point they realise they're not profitable, because they've applied a blanket overhead to their Amazon costs. And actually it matters whether product A is in this size box and it costs that much to ship it through Amazon, and product B is in this size packet, because you will give you more or less chance to spend.
And then there's also looking at the advertisement itself. You're advertising your products, and they're all going to different categories, different groups. Some are parent-child scenarios, so different variations. And drilling down on the actual, not the overall advertising cost against your revenue, but what are the individual costs, advertisement costs against individual SKUs or individual variations, and then seeing what the total advertising cost is against that. Is that particular variation profitable? People often forget that, and they just look at the overall cost.
So the black variation might be profitable and the purple one might not be.
Absolutely.
And if you haven't got a really, really clear idea, ultimately that can compound the error over months and months, and suddenly we realise
it hides a massive time bomb.
A massive time bomb. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
we don't like time bombs. We like. So in that case, if we need to know our unit costs for every SKU, that sounds enormous. That sounds a huge challenge for companies that might have thousands of SKUs. Where do we start? Get your FD onto it.
Absolutely, yeah. You would know somewhere down the line. You must have the costs of everything. So the cost of the product, as you say, what cost it comes to the market, and then what are your Amazon costs? Therefore, what's your break-even point? What is that cut-off point from advertising?
So all of those things we often help companies on it. Amazon has its own online. I think you just have to Google Amazon FBA calculator if you're selling on Seller Central. You can plug in weights and dimensions. You can use an Amazon SKU that's similar to your stuff. Yeah. Amazon will give you the costs. So it's there are some ways that you can figure that out, or you and your team can figure that out quite easily, but it's crucial to make Amazon products. Okay, another question, Phil. Can we reduce our Amazon advertising costs and grow new customers? Because who hasn't said we can't just exponentially increase our advertising budget? We know there are companies or Amazon ad specialists who just increase the budget. There you are, job done. Can we reduce Amazon ad costs and grow new companies? What choices do we have?
Yeah, it's a great question, because when you're looking for new customers, you've then got to look at different areas and different ways of targeting, in which case you've got to be testing, in which case your costs are going to go up initially. in order to look at those new areas and look for new customers. The costs will go up, but they will come down if it's managed well. You can't look for new customers and not expect to have...
or unless you say, well, we have a range of 50 products, we're going to cut advertising spend on 20 of them and put some of that budget to the 30 new. So the rule is, I mean, I think it's something that there's sometimes a misconception. At some point, you're going to have to speculate to accumulate. 100%. We wouldn't be in the mind of saying speculate for 12 months. You might want to speculate for 3 months on increasing your costs, but you might then say, this line, we're just going to run, I don't know, automatic ads on, or have a maximum bid of 20p, and control our costs in this area so we can speculate in that area. Now, something, go on.
It also goes back to your earlier question with regards to someone's been running ads for 4 or 5 years and it's got that linear approach to it. We're not reaching out to new targets. So, if you want new customers, you've got to reach out different areas to find the new customers.
So sometimes it can be a bit of a warning sign if you've got this, an example, but if there's potentially you've got a ROAS of 15, really, really great. If your continual ROAS, or you've always got an ACOS of 8%, I'm just pulling out numbers out of a hat. What might that tell us about what you're doing and what you could be doing?
They're not exploring, they're not challenging what they're doing. They're not taking on board some of the new options that are available, and they're just carrying on the same process that they've been doing week after week, month after month after month, and they're not challenging the advertisement and trying to drive new traffic.
So we might say, if you have these type of very stable numbers, might be great, but what might want is people in our team to say to us, do you know what, if we halved that ROAS and made a ROAS of 7 instead of 14, we could go after X or Y new customers. Or on this line of products, let's try and have an ACOS of 15% instead of 12 because we're trying to go after this new segment. Yeah. And there should be those decisions 100%. A lot rather than a stable number.
And generally, you'll find that because they're targeting the same things in the same ways, because it works. And maybe they've got someone on their back going, we need this to be at this level.
Is that not good?
It is good. Obviously, you need somebody to look over you, but you need to challenge back as well and say, well, okay, if we try this and this, yes, we might not get the 15 ROAS, we might get a 10 ROAS, but we'll actually grow the organic
number of people that want to use X or Y products.
Absolutely, yeah, expanding out on those.
So something that somebody said to me this week is, if we have a stable ACOS and we increase the spend, will our ACOS stay the same?
No.
Why is that? If our ACOS was great, we just add more money, will it just not do the same thing?
Where are they adding the money? That's the thing. People often say this to me, clients often say this to me, well, can't we just put more budget to it? Yeah, we can do, but where are we going to use that budget? Because surely our budget already is being utilised fully as it is to achieve what we're achieving. Adding more budget isn't the key. Yes, adding more budget is a great opportunity to expand what we're doing, but the key is expand. So we need to do more things different to what we're doing.
It's a bit like having I'm going to say a bunch of fishing boats. Yeah. I've got 3 fishing boats. They're fishing in 3 different grounds. If we're adding more budget, we're adding a 4th fishing boat, and they've got to go fishing for a while before they bring in. I'm not sure how well this metaphor is going to go. Yeah. You can't predict. It's not a linear money in, stable money out. As soon as we add more money, we're creating a dynamic environment.
Creating opportunities to do other things. And that, of course, is going to have an impact on the sales. And it's also going to have an impact on the overall cost. The ROAS, the ACOS scenario is going to go.
So in fact, we might say from a CEO's point of view, stability, we all like stability as business owners, but from a certain stability in terms of ACOS, TACOS, ROAS, whatever jargony name you want, might actually hide that we are not searching for, we're not trying to increase market share. If you don't want to increase market share, that's great, but someone else is probably trying to do it at your expense. Yeah. So it might be a warning sign for you and your team.
And there's something wrong with we've had clients where they said, we want to grow more. It is, got a particular issue at the moment. We need to push, drive. Here's some extra cash. Fine, no problem. We've done that. But when we've actually got hit the target of the sales that we're looking to achieve, we actually then cut those costs back down again. So we might have gone up another 10, 30, 20,000 in spend, but we've then brought that back down, that 10, 20,000, but kept those sales because we've driven it.
Because you speculated, you can speculate, but then you can start shaving costs. Oh, well, finally that keyword didn't bring in the sales. So we tried it, didn't work. 2 months later, turn it off. So you do not need to just pour in more money, but you do need to understand if you put more money in, you're changing the dynamics of the ads 100%. And there's more variables essentially.
Yeah, and changing simple things like the cost per click. You change the cost per click, then the advert might appear in different places depending on how you've managed it. At the moment you've got a linear approach. You're paying X amount cost per click, and your advert's appearing in a particular place. Once you increase that may be driving more often to page one. You're getting more sales, or alternatively against your competition. So adjusting little things at different times at different places, and even different times of the day now, because we have data to allow us to see what time of day you get better sales. Making those adjustments is essential, really, and that will have an increase in or decrease in your performance. So we've got to absolutely make the adjustments. So will profits improve if we spend more time on Amazon pay-per-click? Over time, yes. Initially, obviously, we're spending more time. We're going to be doing more things, adding more campaigns, looking at different ways to target. But overall, yes, it will. Okay, many companies see pay-per-click as something to outsource. Outsourcing is great, but what type of things should we think of when we're looking to get someone else on board, another company on board? Outsourcing is great. I mean, in-house is great also, but have you got the time and the resources, and has the people in your team got the knowledge and skills to run the account? Years ago, as we said earlier on, it would have been very easy to run an Amazon account because of very little to do. Now there are so many bells and whistles and so many different ways to target. Understanding all those elements is key. So having someone and educate someone in that area would be great. Outsourcing is also another way to do it, but the same rules apply. Do these people know and understand Amazon? Are they plugged in to all the different options that are now available? And I've been finding with our clients that have come to us, the teams that they have working, they're not utilizing half the tools that are now available. And some of them, we talk about software. Software is another thing. Some agencies use software to run, so they plug it in and walk away and don't manage it on a daily basis. So they're not seeing or not having that feeling for what's actually going on in the marketplace and each product group and each campaign, and making the relevant adjustments to that, and seeing things that the algorithms, the tools are great for making cost per click changes and adding new keywords and etc. But with what's going on with the Amazon advertising platform now, I think software has got to become seriously intuitive to really get to grips with it. It's not. There's such a dynamic environment that software needs to be managed actively by someone. So from the answer, how can we deal with an agency or hire a new member of staff when I don't know the first thing about Amazon pay-per-click? Everybody can learn something. We coach and train founders. We coach and train Amazon managers. You could be a very numerate person, but need to understand how to run ads on a daily basis. You could not enjoy numbers, but you can still, and lots of people don't, they can still be helped. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm shocked sometimes that we go into, some companies come to us and we have a look at their accounts, and then we find out that they actually don't know anything about Amazon advertisement, but they've hired someone else to do it. And when we point out certain areas, they go, oh, I didn't know that. And they start to understand and start to learn. And they want to learn from us about Amazon and Amazon ads and how it all works, etc. Just the basics. And from that, then they can go to their agency and say, have you tried this? Have you done that? Why are you doing this? What's the strategy behind that? And then that understanding, really, before you go to an agency, is fundamental, because you need to ask the right questions in order to get out of them what you want. So anybody can be coached, and we do coach and train people to understand a bit more the choices.
How can we keep up with the ever-changing pace of Amazon ads?
Wow.
Listen to you more.
I think the key to that is to get on the platform and do it on a daily basis. That's it. I mean, if you're on that platform, you're seeing those changes, because Amazon don't publish them on a regular basis. They don't tell you they're introducing these new tools.
You'll just find them available suddenly.
You just all of a sudden something's changed. You go, well, what is that? What's that button? Okay, and then you have to look into it and dig a bit deeper. Sometimes you have to, set a campaign up to test it. How does it work? How does it respond? What's the data coming back and telling us? How do we then manage that and use that within?
So that's time spent, and also ability to have challenging conversations. Well, this has happened. Let's try something else, rather than setting and forgetting.
Yeah.
Okay. Should only one person know about Amazon ads in a business?
Absolutely not. No.
Everybody.
Everyone should
you're in
have
operations. You're in everybody should know about Amazon ads.
Have a basic understanding of why we need ads, first of all, and then an understanding of how they work. It's important simply because, if a person leaves a company, who's then going to slip into that place? If someone goes on holiday, is off sick, someone needs to have a basic understanding of how they can just press a few buttons and manage it whilst that person gets replaced or goes off sick or ill or whatever.
We don't know what we don't know about Amazon. Where do we start?
You could come to Sell Beyond, of course.
That wasn't the question. Realise that you need to gain some awareness. You've got a business, you've got a team running it. Everybody can learn more, and that's what we're here to. I hope you've enjoyed this afternoon's coffee break. Everybody can learn more, and every business needs to have more than one person, because Amazon changes all the time. We need challenging conversations about what we're going to do with the money. Should we keep spending it here? Should we go somewhere else? And everybody should be involved in that conversation that has something to do with either Amazon, marketing, or the P&L. So thank you very much, Phil, for your time. Really welcome. Great to see you, everybody. And we'll catch you again at Sell Beyond. Thank you.